Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Meeting with the Mentors, a podcast series of me, Kaya Daniels, interviewing some local small businesses to get an inside look of what it is like to own a small business. In today's episode, we are interviewing Anya from Anya's BOWtique. Thanks for listening.
So if you want to start off by saying your name and then the business name and like what your business does.
Hi, my name is Anya. I am the owner of Anya's BOWtique. So I sell handmade clothing and accessories on my Etsy shop, Anya's BOWtique, and I donate a portion of my proceeds to Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation, and that's a nonprofit organization that donates all of the proceeds to childhood cancer research.
Awesome. All right. So the first question is, how did you get your business started and like what were some steps that you had to take to get there?
So I started my business when I was 11 years old. And back when I was 11, I did it in person. So that means I took my hair bows and my accessories and I sold them at a lot of local craft fairs. So to get that started, I would just, call local craft fairs, local people in the community, and see where they had spots available for me to have a stand. But when I transferred to online, that was because of COVID. So that was because, all the local craft fairs had ended, they couldn't happen. So I decided to start my Etsy shop. So I did a lot of research about Etsy and how to sell products on there. And that's how I started my Etsy shop.
That's interesting. I was gonna ask a question about like how COVID affected your business, but you already
Yeah, I
told
just
me.
had to transfer to online.
Yeah, that's interesting. What do you think is the hardest part about owning a business? And like when you started, were there any factors that kind of like surprised you along the way?
I'm kind of thinking what the hardest part is because I feel like there's so many just fun aspects to it. I would just say the hardest part is that, sometimes you get stressed out. Like when I have a lot of orders and I have a lot of schoolwork and homework, it's just like I have so much to do at once. And it's kind of like I have to either prioritize my homework or I have to prioritize, my homework and stuff. Sometimes when I have a lot on my plate because of my business and school is when it gets pretty hard for me. But
What do you think makes your business successful? Because you said you've been doing it for 5 years, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
I would think the thing that makes it most successful is probably because, I donate my proceeds to childhood cancer research, so
Mhm.
that motivates people to support my business and support the cause that I'm donating to. So
How did you get your business to become known by other people?
I feel like at first, when I was just at local craft fairs, it wasn't too known. But like during COVID, when I had so much free time, was when I opened my Instagram account, my Pinterest, and my Etsy shop, obviously. So I was able to become known by a lot more friends, a lot more people by school, obviously. That's how
Yeah.
they probably found out about me too. So I think it was
Yeah.
more recently, but just social media and just like spreading the word is how I got to be more known.
I sent out like a Google form near the end of the school year, or I think a little bit before the end of the school year, like asking people like if they had businesses in mind. And like I only got like 20 something responses, but like you came up 5 times and I was like, oh
Really?
wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was like that known.
And it's
That's so
interesting
cool.
too, because like yours is an online business, you're the only online business I'm talking to, and you're like young, like you're a teenager. So I
That's so
thought that was
cool. That's
interesting.
that's really cool.
Yeah. Have you seen an increase in the amount of businesses being started due to like social media?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like being on Instagram, I'm seeing so many other accounts who have started like also in 2020. So on Etsy, it says like shop started in 2020, and I feel like so many have started like due to COVID and social media. So I think that's super cool.
Yeah, and it's like kind of like easier to reach out to people too, like from all over the world. Is there any advice that you would want to give people starting their own business or like thinking of starting their own business?
I feel like my biggest piece of advice would be to do your research and don't be afraid to ask for help. Because when I first started, I would like sit down every day with like my notebook and I would go through so many YouTube videos and take notes on like what they were saying about Etsy. And there's just like so much stuff on the internet. So like just don't be afraid to, ask for help because there's so many people who've also started businesses and they became so successful and they can help all of us become successful too. So
Those are like pretty general questions. Like I'm gonna ask everyone those questions, but So you mentioned the Alex's Lemonade Stand fundraiser. What inspired you to donate to them, like especially?
So, when I was 11 was when I started my small business. So a few months before I started was when I went to, it was kind of like a presentation by ALSF, and they just talked all about their charity, and I actually got to meet a childhood cancer hero. So honestly, my whole motivation for Anya's Boutique was to help ALSF. And then I just tried to figure out what I wanted to do. And that's when I kind of combined my creativity and I was really able to help the charity. So,
That's really good. I love that. I don't think many people would do that either.
mhm.
Um, how do you think online shops are similar or different to like in-person businesses?
I would say they're different. To start off with different, obviously I'm able to reach people all over the country and even all over the world in different countries. So, having a in-person business, you can't really reach as many people. But at the same time, I feel like having an in-person business, you have like repetitive customers, and also having an online business, you have repetitive customers and like people that are always there for you. So I would say that's a
Mhm.
similarity.
I feel like because I I work at a small business, so I think I always see people coming like all the time, and like
Mhm.
having like being in person and like having that vibe, you just like feel it. But also like I've ordered from small businesses and like talking to people like from other places, like I said, that's interesting. And then like customer service is also like a super important thing. Like just like if like an order goes wrong and like something doesn't ship right, like dealing with that like head on, very important. For a website builder, I saw that you use Milkshake, which I had never heard before, and I
Oh,
thought it was
you saw my
really
website.
interesting. Yeah, so, like, how did you find out about it, and, like, how do you think it's beneficial?
So for Milkshake, I actually was on Instagram and I was looking at other accounts and I saw someone else who used Milkshake. It's really similar to Linktree, but the reason I chose it over Linktree was because when I was doing my research, I saw someone who said that Linktree is like apparently bad because like all of your views are going to Linktree versus like all of your like links that you have in there. And also in Milkshake, you can have like I don't know if you saw, but I have like slides, and I was
Yeah,
able to add a slide about just about my business so that it's not only just like my Etsy shop, my fundraising page and stuff. It has just kind of more about me and my business too.
yeah, like, you can kind of fit more information instead of just, like,
Hmm.
having a link, and I feel like when I see link trees, half the time I don't even click on all the links.
Yeah, because there's
So,
so much to scroll through. It's just like
yeah,
overwhelming.
you've been running for 5 years. That's very impressive, by the way. How do you think your business has changed? I guess you kinda already covered this, but, like,
Yeah.
were there any lessons that you've learned along the way too?
Just as per lessons, I've just met like so many people. Well, I would say mostly at craft fairs, but just like I don't know if this is really a lesson, but I've just been like so lucky to have like met so many different people who also have small businesses. And like whenever you're at like a craft fair, there's people like next to you and like around you. And like I've just had so many conversations with all these people and they all just like knowing about their business and talking about mine, just like making so many friends.
You said you do craft this I didn't even come I just came up with this question. But you said you do craft fairs, like where? Do you do them like in Shrewsbury?
I've done a couple in Shrewsbury, but just like all over central Mass mostly.
Mhm.
Never too far away, but always in like Massachusetts, such
And
local
then
craft fairs.
like I would imagine like to have like a booth or like a table or something, you have to like pay fees or whatever. Like how are those organized?
Yeah, so usually you have to pay fees, because I donate when I have craft fairs, I donate all my proceeds. So a lot of times the fee gets waived for me because it's all for charity, but sometimes it doesn't. So just like the money
Mm,
I'm paying goes to charity eventually. So like
yeah,
that's how it works.
that's awesome. I mean those were all the questions I had. If you want, you can ask me a question or you can like say any final little additional thoughts.
I actually do have a question. You said that you work at a small business. Where do you work?
Yeah. So I work at this place called Board and Brush Westboro. It's a creative studio and we make like have you ever been to a paint night before?
I've heard of it and I really want to do one. So now I'm
Yeah.
really interested.
So it's kind of like the same vibe as paint nights, except it's not like with canvases and paint. It's I actually have one right up here. We make like
Oh,
little wood signs.
that's so cool.
Yeah, we stain them and we build them, and then people like paint on them with stencils.
That's
So
really
we run
cool.
like workshops for people to like come with their friends or family and just like have fun.
Yeah, I'll
So
definitely check that out. That's so cool.
yeah, it's super fun. I love it. I have a lot of family that has like small businesses. My grandfather had a tattoo parlor. My stepsisters, they do something similar to you. They make like kids clothing, so they make like
Um,
bows and like, but they also make clothes and stuff. My dad's a photographer, so he has a photography business.
mhm.
Yeah. So
That's so cool. You're surrounded by so many people.
yeah, that's why I'm like, dang, this is kind of cool. I want my own.
Yeah, you should definitely make an Etsy shop. It's so nice.
Yeah, the only thing I've heard about Etsy is that they take like a lot of what you make, like the money that you make.
Yeah,
Like,
listing an item on your shop takes like 20 cents. And then they have like a transaction fee. So that's like, it's like a small percentage that they take away. But Etsy does a lot for you. Like, if they like build the whole, like, enter the stuff in the website, but they like kind of build a lot of it. And they do a lot of promoting for you too. So I think at the end of the day, it's like worth it to try out
yeah,
Etsy.
yeah. I mean, I've seen like Instagram had like they released Instagram shops too, but like
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to do that to like keep it all in one place, but then they're like you have to link to Facebook, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's why I haven't done that because I don't have a Facebook account.
yeah, me neither.
It's
I've
just
been
like
thinking
so
about
much.
it.
I can't do all of that.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, thank you for agreeing to
Of
do
course.
this. Yeah, thank you. So